Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we have a viewer requested review from someone who's obviously a big Neo Geo fan, because we're going to be taking a look at Magician Lord for the Neo Geo CD, which is an ADK developed, SNK published action title that was released in 1990. It tells the story of a young magician named Elta as he sets out to reclaim 8 magical tomes from the evil sorcerer Gal Agis, who intends to use them to resurrect Az-a-Torse, the unholy god of destruction. This is all explained through some pretty cool cutscenes with some pretty terrible voice acting, which is par for the course as far as early 90s Neo Geo games are concerned. I don't want to mince words here, and I don't want to be overly critical because I do realize that first and foremost, this was an arcade game, and as such, designed to eat up as many quarters as possible, but I really don't like this game, and it's precisely because of how frustratingly cheap and difficult it is, or at least for me it is. The gameplay is very straightforward on paper. Just navigate your way through each level, killing enemies and doing a bit of platforming until you reach a boss battle. It's pretty standard affair. A very cool feature is the ability to transform into various personas by collecting different colored orbs, with each one granting you different abilities and attributes. The problem is that pretty much no matter what form you assume, the controls in Magician Lord are fairly stiff, and you revert back to your original form after taking 2 hits, and since enemy placements and the enemies themselves tend to be really cheap, I've never been able to stay alive for very long, let alone maintain a transformation. So again, on paper, this game should have everything going for it, and it's not all bad. There is some fun to be had here. It's a simple action platformer with a cool gimmick, but stiff controls and unforgiving difficulty make it fall well short of those aspirations, whether that's on purpose for the sake of more quarters or it's a design flaw, I can't really say. I think the graphics, sound, and overall design of Magician Lord are its greatest strengths. Again, with this being an arcade title, it needed to attract players with some standout visuals, and this is a pretty good looking game for 1990 with very detailed and mostly colorful stages and backgrounds, and the player, enemy, and boss designs are really cool too. Just to look at it, this is the kind of game I'd probably want to play if I walked by it in an arcade, so it's definitely pleasing to the eyes and to the ears as well. Magician Lord features a pretty exceptional soundtrack. For the most part, you'll be hearing a lot of high-energy music that matches perfectly with an arcade action title, and the sound effects are pretty strong too. Even the terrible voice acting, or at least terrible in the English version, is good for a chuckle. That's one thing I can say about ADK games in general, regardless of the genre or quality of the gameplay. The graphics and sound were pretty much always top shelf. So overall, I think Magician Lord is a flawed and often frustrating platformer that's wrapped up with very pretty graphics and excellent music. So whether or not I recommend this game depends on your tolerance for frustration. Like I said, it's not all bad. This game can be fun. It's just the difficulty turned me off a bit. I can safely say that of all the ADK games that I've ever played, this is my least favorite, but that is some pretty stiff competition. If you do intend to buy a copy, you can look forward to paying over $100 for any of the Neo Geo home ports, but luckily this game was released on a ton of other platforms, including the Virtual Console, the PlayStation Network, and on the SNK Arcade Classics Collection, which was released for the PS2, PSP, and Nintendo Wii. So you have a whole lot of options if you want to give Magician Lord a try and relive your fantasies of being a contestant on Nick Arcade. Check it out.